year ago.
And going back to a little something we mentioned earlier, Professor Carranza, there is, obviously the bill didn't pass. There is some strong opposition to it. Can you explain?
There are two types of, I would say possibly three types of opposition to the DREAM Act. First of all, the Republicans. The Republicans are not fan of this bill for the reasons possibly everybody knows. They are not necessarily in tune with the realities of the immigrant community. Second would be those people who possibly think that the bill shouldn't be by itself, that it should be part of the entire package, the one that I was mentioning at the beginning, that is related to the entire immigration bill, immigration reform, the comprehensive immigration reform. That is one sector. And there is a sector within those dreamers, the ones who support the DREAM Act, that are in opposition because the bill represents an indirect attempt to recruit within the undocumented population soldiers to fight a war that this country is fighting in different places, such as Afghanistan at this point and in other places. Those are the three, main opposition groups. And the three of them have different perspectives on how to tackle that.
So how about, you don't think the failure of the bill this time around has to do with it being attached as an amendment to the defense spending bill?
It have to do with the politics of the Congress and the politics of undermining, seems to me, the political agenda of the Democratic Party, and the conservative groups are pushing for that. That is my assumption, of course. Obviously, being part of the defense bill, of course, it has, in other sectors, in the Democratic Party, in the liberal component of the Democratic Party also has some kind of uneasiness. But I would say that there is a component of not fulfilling. They know the people opposing the democratic agenda of President Obama, they know that the comprehensive immigration reform is not going to pass. Even the Democrats said that. Then by undermining this DREAM Act, they are also cutting all the avenues that will allow to save face within the Latino population, especially now that the November elections are coming. Then that are the political realities of this bill.
Do you think there are any economic advantages to passing the bill?
The economic advantages, I don't think, people have been thinking about those issues. They have been thinking about mainly within the defense bill. Economic advantages, I mean, it's easier for the Congress to pass, for example, a $600 million bill to protect the border. Because there are certain realities that they are looking at. But economically, I think they are not necessarily addressing that issue. There are other components that they are addressing that are political, primarily.
Okay, and this question, both of you guys could probably have a good answer. There's about only 10% of undocumented students that graduate from high school that actually go to college. Do you think if this bill is passed, would that 10% drastically go up or down? We'll start with you.
I think that it would most definitely go up. It would increase. Something that I was going to comment earlier, just to go back a little bit about your question, is that I think that what people are forgetting, that there is some sort of economic advantages to passing, this sort of comprehensive reform bill, or even like the DREAM Act, because what you're going to end up with is this population of educated, skilled workers, but at the end, you're just sort of like creating the below poverty line population. You're just increasing that, and so you're going to end up with like a pretty like a disparity. There's going to be no income mobility, so you're just these workers that you could actually get into the workforce, and a lot of the baby boomers are about to they're getting older, and it's like time for new leadership to come in, and you're not looking at this entire population. This entire population is being overlooked. But to answer your question, the second question, I do think that it will increase because more people, more students will sort of have this idea that college is a reachable sort of like goal. And, now one of the reasons why students maybe go to a community college route and then, end up not transferring to a 4-year and graduating and getting these 4-year degrees or your BA is because they can't really afford it, or it just becomes very difficult even getting a side job like the student that you were interviewing. And so taking this into consideration, it will increase. A lot of these sort of myths will hopefully eventually start dying down.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the economic component is obviously positive if you pass the comprehensive immigration reform. I don't know if they are looking at the economic component as such. That is why I am ambivalent on that issue. Now, we have a budget restriction within our, educational system. Then I don't know if it's going to increase. First of all, I mean, we don't have enough students attending the school because of those budget restrictions. There are realities there. I mean, the sí se puede, that yes, we can. I mean, there are individual efforts that are commendable of the students. But as the entire population, the economy is not responding to that. If a regular student with papers cannot even afford to go to school, imagine those who are struggling within the legal, aspect of being, undocumented, what kind of problem they will face. It's a very complex situation. I mean, we dream about, yes, we can do it, but the reality is other one. Look at today. Even today, for students that have those documents, they can't attend the school at this point.
Well, I really want to thank all of you guys for coming. I wish we had more time to discuss this issue. I'm Karen Castro, and you're watching On Point. The Republican Party stands firmly against it. This time around, 2 Democrats voted against it. So what do you think it's going to take to get the Republican support for this bill?
I think it will depend on the people, I will say, to mobilize, to exercise their right in November, in every election, and stand united against those individuals, either from the Democrats or Republicans, who are not supporting. And the people should respond to them. That is why we have institutions here in this country. We can go and vote and say, no, we don't want you in this position because you're not helping us.